Pakistan, okay,
My
inshallah.
mum is from Germany.
Oh, right, okay.
But neither of them believe believers.
Or they don't follow their own reason.
Neither of them practice.
At
They
all.
were born into religion, but I don't think today they're not practicing.
You don't see them praying and all these sort of things that they're doing. Excellent. I mean, in terms of the existence of a creator, this is something which I think most human beings naturally believe in anyway. I mean, it's an ingrained thing. If you're falling from a building, you have that urge to call to something for help. It's like it's programmed within us. That's one sort of thing. And the second is just like rationally as well. You see the universe and the order and the design of the universe. To say it came about purely by chance or just haphazardly, it's a bit of a stretch. There must be, like with everything, a building has a builder, a painting has a painter, etc. So this universe and the design within it has a designer behind it. And he must have power and all these qualities to create everything that's around us and within us as well. So that's, I mean, where we sort of pitch ourselves when it comes to does God exist? Yeah, absolutely. It's a bit irrational, even ignoring faith, to say that it came about by chance. In terms of him existing and then creating us and leaving us without any guidance, what are your thoughts?
I mean, there's a book by Dostoevsky, and there's a quote in it that says, "It's not God that I don't agree with; it's the world that He has created."
Right.
And all this suffering that has no answer is something that, in my mind, I struggle to comprehend.
That's a very, very, I would say, a genuine sort of answer to this question. I mean, that's asking the question: why did God do certain things? Not He doesn't exist in the first place.
Yeah, but why?
Now, it's now number one. There's some questions that we can't answer because they're questions for God. Okay, and number two, Allah, or we say God is Allah. Of course, you know that anyway. He has no one to answer to, and there is wisdoms that we can't understand. And for us, this life isn't the be all and end all. Like you live this life and you die, and we believe there is a hereafter after this. It's not that a person can be bad in this life and evil and do all sorts of things, and then they just commit suicide and that's it for them. There's no justice for those people who they oppressed. So I believe there is a day of judgment when this person is held accountable, and depending on how they live their life, there is two destinations and no other: paradise or the hellfire. And based on your actions in this life, your choices in this life, dictate where you end up in the hereafter. Okay. And that is God's justice. So yes, someone in this life may live a very hard life, very difficult. Like the prophets and messengers, they lived hard lives. Okay, the Prophet, peace be upon him, he didn't live a life of luxury. He lived a life of poverty himself. If it was a case that those who are beloved to God would have everything in this life, then they would be the first. Now, when a child, for example, dies, this is what a lot of atheists say: I don't believe in God because if God exists, why do babies die? Okay, this is on the pretense that you deserve to live. You're assuming that you deserve to live. Okay, life is something which God gave us, and if He takes this back from us, it's something which belongs to Him. We only view it as an injustice because we assume in our minds that we deserve to live in the first place. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Secondly, that child who dies in this life, yes, it's a tragedy for the parents, for us that live when we see it in the short term. We believe that child enters into paradise. Every child who dies below the age of maturity and understanding, they enter into paradise. So, although in our short-sighted perspective, this is an injustice, if we see it from the perspective of Allah, of God, that this person has achieved success, they've entered into paradise, which is the true success. Because a person may live this life, may be given all of the blessings and luxuries of this life, and use those to disobey or not achieve the objective of their life in this life, and then they enter into the hellfire for eternity. Have they achieved success?
Probably not.
Of course not. Because what's 50, 60 years compared to infinity? Nothing. So this is how we see things. This is our perspective on life. And that's how you can understand the suffering.